Alright guys, what's up? RedRaven here, coming at you with yet another tutorial. In this one, I'm going to demonstrate how I actually record my bass lines and how I get the LFOs worked out in the automation clips. I figured I've already showed you basically everything else that I do, so I might as well show you how I do my recording and everything. And hopefully you guys will learn something. So, I'm going to be using the same citrus patch I made in the citrus bass take 2 video. Sounds like this without any cutoff or anything. You can hear I added some portamento to it. If you want to know how I made that sound, just go watch the citrus bass take 2 video. It's the exact same sound. All I did was take the cutoff all the way up, and it's not processed or anything. There's no effects. So if I bring my playlist over here, and we'll go ahead and get it. There we go. So let me go ahead and get it all nice and zoomed in here. You'll see I have a nice little kick pattern and a clap. I'll go ahead and play that for you. Well, let me turn the click track off. And you hear it's got some shuffle to it. I did the kicks and the piano roll just like I showed you. Well, I didn't show you, but I told you how to in the Citrus Take 2 video. So, yeah, that's basically it. If I go ahead and bring that over, you can just see I used the 1/3 step blocks again. And if I turn the click track on and go into pattern, well, that's the kick pattern too. But anyway, that's not really what this is about. So let me go. First thing, in FL10, I kind of like this better. I can't remember if FL9 had it. I think it did, but I'm not real sure. I didn't use it. But I like how you do the patterns. You just click this plus, and then you just give it a name, and then you can select between your different patterns this way. In your playlist, you can select between them up here, right there. And that's how you select which one you're drawing in or whatever. So I kind of like that. So what I've done is I've laid out 8 bars of my beat, and I've kicked it into song mode here. I have my bass pattern active, and I'm going to go ahead and record this bass line that I've already kind of jammed out on the keyboard with a bit, and I kind of have an idea of what I want it to sound like. I don't know how I'm going to have the wobble sounding, but I know how I want the bass notes to sound at least. So let me go ahead and make sure I'm on my bass, and we'll kick it into record, and we'll get this recorded. All right, and that recorded my microphone too. Kind of forgot that it would do that, but oh well, it doesn't really matter. So you see we have our bass line played in now. It's not quantized or anything yet, but we're going to fix that. So let me click off the record track here. I can go ahead and delete this. Kind of have to hurry so that I don't waste all of my RAM, because as most of my viewers should know by now, I don't have a whole lot. So, since I played that with some triplets, I want to go ahead and make sure I'm on 1/3 of a beat. Except I'm going to do 1/6 of a beat, because I know I did something like that. So then I'll hit Control Q, and that'll quick quantize it to, well, let me do Alt Q, because that'll snap it to the line actually. So if I play this with the click track in pattern mode, we're going to go ahead and tidy it up a bit. I'm going to zoom in on this section here and kind of clean that up a bit. There we go. And if you just have your snap to set right, it's really easy to clean this up. And you'll notice that all my velocities are a bit different because I recorded this in from my MIDI keyboard. And usually when you're doing a bass line, you don't want your bass changing volumes a lot. I mean, you can if you want it that way, but on this case, I don't. So I'm going to go Tools, Scale Levels, and then I just turn the tension all the way up and it levels them out to a flat line. Hit Accept, and we now have our bass line. So let's kick it back into song mode. We'll bring up the citrus and then go to the Filter tab. And I'm going to enable the cutoff LFO now. And then I'm going to drag my cutoff down a bit here. And then I'm going to right click on the speed knob and I'm going to create an automation clip. And then if we bring up our playlist, we now have an automation clip. So I'm going to zoom in here on my 8 bars. And then I don't need to look at the kick and clap for this. I'll zoom the bass a bit, and then we're going to focus mostly on this section here, the automation clip. So I'll zoom in down to 4 bars here, and I'll leave my click track on, and then I'm just going to play with this LFO until I get it to sound decent. And this is just basically trial and error. I mean, once you've messed with the synth enough, you'll have an idea of where the points to click are, but so this is just going to be like the reverse, the answer to this. And this is all you do. You just sit here and you click these dots in. If you don't know how to add a dot, it's a right click and it'll add the point. You can adjust the tension by this little center node, I guess it would be called. And yeah, you just sit here and you can do all sorts of stuff with this. And I'm gonna kind of stutter this part here with like the drunk effect that I showed. Yeah, no, I don't like that. But I will be sitting here and I'll change the speed of the LFO here, like so. And this is why you want to zoom in. It's so that you can see there's this little gray bar that goes across as you hold the node down with the left click to drag it, and you can line that bar that goes across up with your other points to make sure that it's the same height as the rest. Now obviously the higher the point, the faster the LFO. That's pretty straightforward, I think. Alright, so there's my bass line that I'm going to do for this. So there we go. We just went from no wobble to a wobble. Now let's say I wanted to sync, let's say I used like all 3 filters in Citrus, running like different things, like one filter had a higher pitch sound and stuff like that. How would you sync those all to that same automation clip so that you don't have to draw that same thing 5 or 6 times over? Well, it's pretty simple, and I'm going to show you. Now, in this case, I'm going to add an LFO to the volume of the filter, so that this way, even my sub bass, which I get from frequency splitting this patch out as I've showed before, will have a wobble as well. So I'll go ahead and enable the filter, and you can see since I made the patch, I've already gotten rid of that default envelope they put in. And all you do is you just right click on the speed knob, and you go down to link to controller. This box pops up. I have two screens, so it popped up on my other screen, and you just, if you have an automation clip, this box, the internal controller box, should pop up. If you don't have any internal controllers running in FL, this section will be missing. So you just click this drop down menu and you'll see bass and filter 1, filter cutoff frequency, LFO speed. And that's the one we just drew, so I'm going to click that. And since I want it to follow it exactly, I'm just going to leave the mapping formula alone. You can invert it, and that'll make it obviously opposite, but yeah, that's not what I want. I'm going to hit accept, and now our volume will also have that same wobble. And you could do that for any of the LFOs within Citrus. I don't know if any, if maybe the 3XOSC, I don't know if the wobble speeds will correspond to the same height, but any LFO within Citrus will work with this linking setup. So like if you duplicated the patch and you wanted to link those up to the LFO, you just do that same right click, create, not create automation clip, but link to controller, and you just select the automation clip that you just drew. Okay? And that's basically it. That's all I really wanted to go over in this, is how I do my recording and stuff. So if we listen to this without a click track now. And there you go. It's that simple. You could add maybe other sounds, like a high-pitched sound, a pad. Since this bass line has all of these breaks in it where there's no bass playing, that would be good parts to put like filler sounds and like sound effects sounds to fill out that space. Or you could leave it open and just have that more open, spacey fill. It's really all up to you. So yeah, that's it for this tutorial, and this is RedRaven peacing out. I hope you learned something. Don't forget, you can request tutorials. You can also request sound design things, so if there's a sound you'd like to hear made, go ahead and send me a private message on YouTube with either the title tutorial request or sound design request, respectively. And then if it's a tutorial request in the message, just put what you want to learn. And maybe give like a demonstration, like find a song that kind of uses the effect you're after, and I'll try to do my best. And if you're after a sound, just link me to a video that has the sound and tell me when in the song the sound kicks in, and try to describe it so I make the right sound. So yeah, this is RedRaven peacing out.